Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. If you haven't done so, I'd like to remind you to please remember to like and subscribe to my channel because I've got new videos uploaded every week just for you. In today's video, we are going to take a very quick look at the Seiko Presage Sharp Edge series, and this watch is a very new model. I think it was launched at the end of 2022, like 3 months ago I think. And this is reference number SPB309J1, which features an open heart movement on the dial. So here's a bit of background information on the Seiko Presage Sharp Edge series. So the whole collection was launched in 2020. And of course, given the model line name, the Sharp Edge series refer to the angular sides of the case here. And it's also worth noting that the Sharp Edge series, they all come with this dial here, which features sort of a hem leaf pattern. So the hem leaf here we're talking about is not that type of hem leaf you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about, right? In this case, we're talking about the Japanese traditional Asanoha hem leaf prints, right, which is found all over this dial here. And I'll say this pattern here on the dial, it actually elevates the watch and makes it look very different from the basic line of Presage models. Before I continue with my review, I'd like to take some time to thank Eric at our boutique for so generously loaning me all these watches for my video reviews. You can definitely find this watch from our boutique. It goes for street price of Singapore dollars $1,080. And now with the lens zoom in just a little bit, I'd like to share with you some of the key specifications of the watch here. It's got a case size of 40.2 millimeters, so this is a slightly bigger case size for a less sporty kind of style. Total thickness here is 12.2 millimeters. That's measuring from the base of the display back here, which is sapphire crystal, to the top of the flat sapphire crystal, which features an AR coating on the underside. We've got a very standard and strap-friendly lug width here, 20 millimeters. So again, this is going to be one of those strap monsters kind of thing. I can picture it looking fantastic and classic with a black crocodile strap, or I think even a brown strap will work really well in this case. And as with most Seiko watches, this one here has got a very manageable L2L of 47.1 millimeters. So this would mean that even if you have a smaller wrist, it's not a problem, because for a watch like this, 47 mm is a very manageable L2L distance. The SPB309 features the 6R38 movement, which is the no-date cousin of the 6R35. It's more or less a workhorse movement, but it does have a slightly longer power reserve as well as slightly better accuracy. And this one here on the 309 features this open heart dial design here. I'm not a big fan of such things, alright, but I'm pretty sure there is a fan base going on for skeletonized dials or open heart dial designs. And speaking of the dial here, we've got a crystal size of about 34 millimeters depending on where you measure from. So I'm measuring from the glass area, the sapphire crystal area. So the actual dial does seem a little bit smaller due to this chapter ring here that sort of slopes in. And of course, this one here being a lone set, I've decided to leave all the bracelets unsized and intact. The watch here, including the full links bracelet, comes in at around 160 grams. And I would think, this is still quite light for a full bracelet watch, because after sizing the bracelet, it's most likely going to come in at around 140 to 145 grams, and that's just about the manageable weight for a full stainless steel bracelet watch. And now let's talk a little bit on the case design as well as the overall build quality. So on first impressions, I really think that this one here has got a nice case finishing. Alright, it's got a really good mix of brush and polished surfaces, and the distinction between each type of finishing is very clear and distinct. Okay, so over here at the top of the lugs here, you can see it is vertically brushed, very nicely brushed, and it transits into this bevel here, a very large bevel which spans the entire L2L or wingspan of the watch, and then it comes back to a brush finish on the mid case here. So this is definitely a step higher, a step or two higher than the basic Presage models. Despite the model name Sharp Edge series, this one here does not have entirely sharp edges angular cuts and all that. You can see from this mid case here, it's got a really nice, very subtle curve here to the mid case. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that the King Seiko series that I reviewed a few months back definitely has more angular sides and case design elements to it than the Presage Sharp Edge series models. And moving on to the dial design of this watch here. Of course, the highlight of this dial here would be the hem leaf pattern, which is embossed on the entire dial here. So this is a step dial, and the center portion of the dial here is raised, and this center portion here also houses the open heart complication, which I'm not a fan of. Okay, I'm never a big fan of skeletonized dials or skeletonized open heart design elements. So the entire dial here does have this very strong 3D feel and design going on because the markers here are applied. We've got KitKat bars here along the hour markers, and together with the hem leaf design and the handsets here, which are finely polished, I think the overall dial design here is very high-end. So don't forget, we're looking at a watch that is above 1,000 Singapore dollars. And I do feel that the dial work here in terms of the design and the applications. I think it really befits the price point of the watch. It is also interesting to note that we've got these splashes of blue accents from this chapter ring, which is done in a really nice dark blue, and it's got the right amount of sheen over it. Together with this blue seconds hand over here, it gives a touch of color as well as a bit of sportiness to this watch. And now let's check out the lume here on the Seiko Sharp Edge. As you can see, due to the smaller lume plots found over here, the lume here does seem to be suffering just a little bit. Alright, it's very good on the hands, but on the markers you can see that they are fast fading as we speak. Alright, so this is quite a disappointment when it comes to the lume level. And zooming out here for a quick wrist shot, you can see that the Sharp Edge at 40.2mm case size is very wearable. It feels really good, doesn't feel top heavy at all despite the slightly thicker overall case height. This one here comes in at just over 12mm, but I don't feel that it is top heavy at all. So this bracelet here is a rather standard oyster-esque looking type of bracelet from all the Presage series. Does feature a solid clasp and overall solid links. I do wish that there's a bit more tapering. Going down to 16 would make the watch more elegant and slightly more wearable, but as it is not a problem at all. And let's also do a very quick size comparison between the Seiko Sharp Edge and my own Citizen Chronomaster. As you can see, both watches, they look rather similar, alright, the same style of watch, white dial or whitish looking dial, but in terms of overall dimensions and thickness, alright, you will see that they are quite different. So the Seiko comes in at around 12.2mm and my Citizen comes in at 10.7mm. And I think these two watches, they fall under a very similar category, right? They are slightly on the dressier side of things, but they are not super dressy whereby it's ultra thin and they come with leather straps and all that. So these watches are definitely very good daily wearing watches. So in summary, I would say the Sharp Edge series, they represent a higher standard or higher level of Seiko Presage model lines. Alright, so the case finishing and the case design here is definitely on a higher level than the $500 to $700 category of Seiko Presage. I do feel that this watch is not the most affordable, alright, but if you're a big fan of Seiko, if you're a Seiko-holic, if you're a Seiko-phile, I think you will find this collection to be interesting, alright. And overall, I do feel that this model here represents very good craftsmanship. So there you have it. That was my review of the Seiko Presage SPB309J1. Alright, if you like this watch, if you like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel because I've got new videos uploaded every week for you. This is Andy in Singapore signing off together with George, Pixie and Rolly Polly. We're gonna say goodbye for now. Bye bye.